Hey everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today I'm going to be talking about games that I'm super proud that I've beat. As you guys know, I beat a ton of games. Every year I try and beat as many games as I can. It just makes me feel great. However, there are certain games that they feel better when you beat these games. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain games that I beat and I feel great because it's a sense of accomplishment. Sometimes, games are so long, so I'm just so proud that I beat it because it was like, oh man, I put 100 hours into that or whatever. But there's certain games, I gotta tell you, there are certain games that I'm just so proud that I beat because it was like, yes! Like, I feel like I really nailed it. Like, I honestly, like, it feels better than beating other games. Of course, before we get into the video, please make sure you're subscribed and click like and tell me what games you're the most proud to have beaten. We're going to start off the video with a Super Nintendo game that I beat on the Vita. I played the digital copy, and I only actually own the Super Famicom version, so whatever. But I'm going to just show this because it's something to show. But I am so proud to have beaten Final Fantasy VI. A big reason that I was proud to beat this game, and a big reason why I'm proud to have beaten a lot of these games, is that there are no difficulty settings. You just have to play it. There's no easy, there's no hard, there's no super easy or safe mode or anything like that. It's just game. And it's an older game, and I feel like sometimes older games can be harder, and they were just there. That was just it. And I realize that different versions of the game are harder or easier depending on which one, and I've heard that the Vita version that I played, because it's the PS1 version, is a little easier than maybe the Super Nintendo version. Whatever. I'm just proud I beat it because it's one of the most famous Final Fantasy games. It's definitely not super easy like some of the new ones that have easy modes. So I feel like, I don't know, I used a guide and I made sure to do everything and get best weapons and all that stuff. And I have to say that beating Kefka just felt great. Like, I was like, oh my god, I beat Final Fantasy VI. This is like one of the most beloved games of all time. So many people say it's the best Final Fantasy. And if I'm honest, it's not my favorite Final Fantasy, but just playing it and beating it and seeing it to the end, seeing the credits, it was just nice. It was kind of like, yeah, I'm part of that club. I've beat Final Fantasy VI. I know what that is. I'm very satisfied. Here's one that's sort of odd, but I'll explain why. So the game is Harvestella, and it's an amazing game, by the way. Please play this. I feel like not enough people have played it, and I will always talk about it if I can. So there you go. Please play Harvestella. I'm really proud that I beat this game because, again, there's no difficulty settings, but it's an action JRPG, and I'm more of a turn-based person. So, if a turn-based JRPG doesn't have difficulty settings, I feel like in my mind, it's like, well, if it's too hard, you just gotta keep grinding, and you just gotta level up until you can just beat that boss. But the same logic doesn't really apply, in my opinion, to action JRPGs. Yes, you can level up as much as you can, but because you're actually physically moving your character around and, like, dodging, I feel like it's sort of harder. That's just my opinion. I think action JRPGs are definitely harder. Now, if they have super easy difficulty settings, then yay, then it's great for me and whatever, but this one didn't, and it had farming elements, so I was really intimidated by it because, yeah, there was like a time limit on the day. Like, you could pass out if you stayed out too late. And so that was kind of, that adds some kind of difficulty to the game and some amount of challenge. And so I was just kind of like, oh, like this is kind of intimidating and kind of difficult. So I'm really excited that I beat that game because I was freaked out when I got to the final boss because I thought, oh man, I've gotten all this way. Am I going to actually be able to do it? And I did. And I'm just really proud of it because JRPGs with action-based combat to me are definitely harder, and so when I beat one without any difficulty settings, whoa, proud of myself. Next we have a game that is a Nintendo game that's actually pretty hard, and that is Luigi's Mansion 3. But yes, this game is not like super easy. Do not look at it like, oh, it's a kiddie game, it's Luigi, whatever. No, this game is actually really hard. And I gave it a chance without ever having played a Luigi's Mansion game. This is my first and only one so far, so yeah, it is not easy. I will just say that. It is not easy, but it's the right amount of challenge, and that's why it was really satisfying to get to the very end. and just beat it, because the whole game is quite hard. And I was just like, whoa, this final boss is pretty good. Like, it's legit. And it, you know, again, there's no grinding or leveling up or any of that. Like, it's just, you gotta just play it. You have to dodge something or use the right weapon or whatever, or know exactly what to do in the moment. And just beating that made me feel really good. It was like, oh, you know, I did it. That was me. Like, I didn't have any, you know, help settings or difficulty settings or anything like that. I just beat it. And some games are super easy without difficulty settings, but this one actually is a pretty good challenge. So for that, I'm just like, yeah. Next, I'm going to show 2 games, and they're just a series. So we're going to go with Like a Dragon. And that is, we've got Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and then the first one, which is Yakuza Like a Dragon. And so both of these games here, super proud that I beat them. And you're going to be like, wow, they're not really that hard. And if I'm honest, they're not ridiculous. However, I would say not a good start for newcomers to JRPGs. Like, these are not the hardest by any means, but they're also not really easy. Like, it's not like a Super Mario RPG where it's like pretty easy, but this is like, yeah, there's some serious difficulty spikes in both. I think the first one was a little bit more challenging at times, but I will say this had some moments that were like, whoa, it just got pretty hard here. The reason I bring this up is because I like the Yakuza series, and those games are brawlers. They're not JRPGs per se, and they're not turn-based or action-based combat. They're kind of beat-em-ups. And I suck at that, so I always play them on easy. And then I remember when this got announced, and they're like, oh, they're going to do a turn-based JRPG version of Yakuza, and I was like, oh, that's so exciting. And then there's no difficulty settings, and I thought, oh, that's sort of scary, but I'm also a JRPG person, so it shouldn't scare me. And I kind of just went for it, and yes, it is doable. I did it. I beat both games, but they are not super easy. So just seeing those games to completion is a nice kind of like sense of accomplishment, and I just felt really good when I beat both of them. This game intimidated me more, and once I beat this, I thought, I know there won't be difficulty settings on this one, but I'm still gonna do it because I know if I could do the first one, I can clearly do the second, which is true, I did it. But I was just kind of like, ugh, because I always play the other ones, which are brawlers, on easy, because like I would not be able to beat those if they were any harder. Like I kind of suck at them, but I just love them so much. But yeah, I was just really proud that I could beat these. Part of me is like, maybe I'm not as bad as I think, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not that great. I just love being in the world, and I love JRPGs, but I'm not like also like the best at playing them. But I feel like maybe I'm not so bad, because I've beat tons of games in my life, and yeah, but these ones, super proud I beat them. The next game is one that is super famous, and that's kind of the reason why I'm proud that I beat it, and that is just Chrono Trigger. I mean, it's amazing. It's a really, really good game, and I'm proud kind of for the same reason in the sense of Final Fantasy VI, where it's like, it's just you and the game. There's no difficulty settings. It's not necessarily, like, by any means, it's not one of the hardest games of all time, but it doesn't matter, because just me beating it felt great, because I thought, I beat Chrono Trigger with, no help, not on easy mode, nothing. I just beat Chrono Trigger, and I just feel like, yes! This is a great version to play, by the way. Like, you could play on the Super Nintendo, and I don't know how many different upgrades there are in this one, but it's kind of just feels like you're playing a Super Nintendo game. It's great. It's just, you gotta play Chrono Trigger. Like, if you haven't played Chrono Trigger at this point, please, because I know it needs a remake, I know it needs all this stuff, or a port, or whatever. I would love that, honestly, I would. That would be so fun, but we don't have it yet, so this stands up 100%. Like, you can just put this in, play it, and it is fantastic. I know it's on the DS, so play it on your 3DS. Try and play it on the most current, or play it on your Steam Deck or whatever. But yeah, Chrono Trigger is so good. I fell in love with it. Like, I loved everything about it. But I remember getting to the end, and this is one game that made me tear up a bit. Not because it's sad. I was just tearing up because I just thought, wow, what a great adventure I just went on. And I was kind of like bummed it was over, because I thought, if any game should be an anime or anything like that, it's this. Like, I remember thinking, I want more. I want to actually watch Chrono Trigger, like the anime or the TV show or whatever. It was just so good. And yeah, I just felt a big sense of accomplishment and pride when I beat this, because I was just like, yes, like, I did it. It just feels good. I do get a really big sense of accomplishment when I beat a game that is really long. So a game can be super long and it could be super easy. Just the fact that I put that much time into it gives me this like, yeah, I'm so proud I beat it kind of feeling. And they still count, but I'm not putting those games on this list. Like Persona 5 Royal, for instance, I'm really proud I beat that, okay? Like, it's long, and I put 101 hours into that game. Now, for me, that's long. Like, I play generally standard RPGs that are like that 40 to 50 hour range. So like at 100 hours, like that's a long time. But I played that game on safety. So it's not like when I beat the boss, I was like, yeah, because it's like, you're gonna beat it. You're not gonna die. You're playing it on the easiest mode possible. So in that sense, I don't really have the same amount of accomplishment or sense of accomplishment. And that's okay, because I don't care. I just played it for fun and to have fun and just to get through the story. Like, I really just wanted to experience the story. And that's okay. I play a lot of games like that and I don't care. And then there's the games that I play that don't give you that option. And that's something that is also fun and sometimes scary. And then when I beat those games, I just feel amazing because it's like, yes, I beat that game with no help. That was me. I straight up beat that. And I always feel really, really good about that because, you know, as much as I love playing games on easy because I can get through tons of games and I can also ensure to the most part that I'm going to beat it. I love that. But when I beat a game, just normal, just some old school game like Earthbound or Chrono Trigger, kind of feels great. Kind of feels a little better. And I'm just admitting that. That's fine. But I also am still going to continue to play games on easy. So that's my list. What is yours? What games are you super proud that you beat? Like, you got to the end and you felt like the biggest sense of accomplishment and you just feel so amazing, like, knowing you beat it, that you saw those end credits and you did it. Tell me in the comments below. I really want to know because I love games like that you really get this sense of like, yes, when you beat it. That's the best. So let me know in the comments below. And of course, I'll see you guys in my next video.